Are you a non-Thai citizen, but you are a family member of a Thai citizen, and you want to go to Thailand during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, and you want to know where to start and how to prepare for the quarantine? This PowerPoint will give you a head start. Keep reading and listening to the end. You will benefit from it. This video intends to give non-Thai citizens who are family members of a Thai citizen that want to go to Thailand during the COVID-19 pandemic a head start only. I have no affiliation with any Thai government agencies. The information provided in this video is gleaned from the Thai consulate website in Los Angeles in the last week of October 2020. You will definitely have to check with the official Thai consulate website or contact them in person for the accurate and up-to-date information. The Thai government has suspended regular commercial flights to Thailand during the COVID-19 pandemic for several months now. Only repatriation flights, semi-commercial flights, or other permitted special flights have been allowed to enter Thailand. To enter Thailand legally during this COVID-19 pandemic saga, only exempted persons and persons on the eligible list are allowed, and they must follow official procedures and regulations. This is the list of the websites of Thai consulates in the United States. People allowed to enter Thailand during the COVID-19 pandemic include Thai citizens, of course, and their immediate family members. Other persons include exempted persons and persons on the list below. This PowerPoint will give information especially for immediate family members of Thai citizens. Who are Thai citizens? If you are born from a Thai parent, but you are born in the United States, it doesn't mean that you are automatically considered a Thai citizen. To be considered a Thai citizen, you have to have a Thai identification document at least, or other Thai identification documents. These documents include identification card, a passport, or other relevant official documents. Who are considered family members of Thai citizens: spouse of a Thai citizen, children of Thai citizens, and parents of Thai citizens. Now, the procedures for family members of Thai citizens to go to Thailand during the COVID-19 pandemic starts step 1 with getting necessary documents ready, both in printed and electronic versions, because you will need both versions to apply for the entry certificate. And later on in this video, you will find out what those important papers are. If you have no entry visa to Thailand, you need to apply for one. Then you will book a flight from the listed agencies. You can find the list on the Thai consulate website, and then apply for a certificate of entry through a Thai consulate website. The consulate suggests you start the process at least 15 days before the date you intend to fly, but I would suggest you start earlier than that. Documents required to apply for a certificate of entry: declaration form, official documents verifying that you are a family member of a Thai citizen, for example, a marriage certificate, a birth certificate, or other identification documents, a health insurance document with a minimum coverage of 100,000 US dollars, a confirmation from an alternative state quarantine hotel in Thailand. This is something you have to do it by yourself. You have to contact the hotels on the alternative state quarantine list, paid for it, and get a confirmation paper to apply for the certificate of entry. A plane ticket purchased from an airline agency on the list, a fit-to-fly certificate, and a medical certificate using RT-PCR test showing that you are fit to fly and that you are free of COVID-19 virus. And both documents must be issued within 72 hours of your scheduled flight. And 72 hours is rather tight schedule. Since choosing to stay at an alternative state quarantine hotel and buying an airplane ticket involve money payments in advance, a careful consideration is needed. A Thai citizen can choose to stay in a state quarantine hotel for free, but the decision whether to stay at a state quarantine or at an alternative state quarantine to accompany your family member must be made when application for a certificate of entry is submitted. Now, for a non-Thai citizen who want to go to Thailand, if you have no visa, you have to apply for one, and you must submit the following documents and pay a fee: a passport and two 2 by 2 inches facial photograph of the applicant, a visa application form, a declaration form, and a health insurance document with a minimum of 100,000 US dollars coverage for hospital costs in Thailand, and a copy of the passport of the Thai citizen who is your immediate family member, or other identification documents, and documents verifying your relationship with the Thai citizen, such as a marriage certificate or birth certificate, and a self-addressed envelope. Now, how to prepare for the quarantine. Non-Thai citizens must stay at an alternative state quarantine hotel. And when you are in the quarantine session, you will be quarantined in a separate room. Therefore, you should pack your stuff separately. At the time this video clip is made, the quarantine lasts 14 days. There is a talk about reducing the sessions to 10 days. You need to prepare necessary medication for twice the length of the quarantine in case you happen to be tested positive during the first session, and you will be required to stay on longer than the initial quarantine period. You cannot get necessary medication unless you are sent to the hospital. A smartphone without line application, you will need that. You will be required to check your temperature and submit the results twice daily. You need your phone to take a photograph of the thermometer that shows your temperature and send it to the line group. You will get tested for COVID-19 twice, and if your result is negative, you will be released the day after the quarantine session ends. If your result is positive, the quarantine will restart. And a laptop or a tablet will help. 14 days or 10 days in isolation can be very long and stressful for some people. On the departure day, aside from your passport, you need to carry the printed version of the following documents with you to the airport: the certificate of entry, a consent to quarantine form, a health insurance form, and the plane ticket, medical certificate by RT-PCR test showing that you are free of COVID-19, and a fit-to-fly certificate. And to remind you that both documents must be issued within 72 hours of departure schedule, and other documents specified on the Thai Consulate website. You must show these documents at the departing airport and at the arrival desk in Thailand, together with your boarding pass. I hope you will be having a nice trip to Thailand. Thank you for watching.